are back for another half-loaded episode of Get a Load of This. From the Silver Creek Studios, I'm Jared.
I am Ryan.
I'm Riley.
I'm Kristin.
We are invaded by girls.
Yeah,
They wouldn't leave the studio.
well, how's that line go? The inmates have overtaken the asylum or something
Taking
like that?
over the prison or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so they're here, they're back. Riley sat in on the last full episode, and my lovely wife, Kristin, helped out with prep. And
now she's just sitting across the table from me taking pictures
silently
with her silent shutter, so I don't know. And I'm not a big fan of my photograph being taken.
Yeah, we'll blur it out.
I've adopted the old American Indian, Native American theory that you take a little bit of my soul every time you take my picture.
Was the Amish.
Whatever. Look,
it's American Indian,
Native American, American Indian. Yeah, I think
it's Native Amish.
Is that acceptable?
I don't think so. I don't think you can say any of that. Yeah. So
that's not what we're going to talk about.
Where would you be likely to say some of these things?
No.
We were going to talk about social media.
You really got to work on your segues.
Yeah,
you used to do better. Maybe it was the alcohol.
It might have been. I'm drinking bottled water all night.
Not even that anymore. I'm getting thirsty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He needs another one.
That's all right. I'm fine. So what we were talking about before we... Oh, thank you. Before we were recording and before Jared screwed up the first time we recorded.
I may have messed it
up. Was that the people who are attention whores on the internet, and
right?
Can you say whores?
I think you can.
Attention sex workers. No.
Yeah,
it doesn't fly. That's an insult to sex workers.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is an industry that's to be honored, according to a lot of people.
Well,
that's a whole other topic.
Yeah. We won't have that with Riley.
No, probably not. No, these anybody that's out there that wants to be the first one to be the town crier. That's the new town crier. What we were talking about was an accident that occurred, and that the first person out there to be like, "Oh, that was my cousin. Please send thoughts and prayers or whatever." So that's not the way that you want to announce something tragic happened, right? That's maybe
shitty. Instead of announcing it on Twitter, you should be at the hospital visiting your cousin who just.
Well, those are usually in my seems like.
Third cousins.
They're not the people that are the close ones that are actually there with them. They're just the ones that want to latch on and be part of the tragedy because
they want attention. And that's what this environment has created. This, I mean, is for all the good things that the internet is. It's created a bunch of babies that just need constant attention. It's bad, and it's created like what are the whole shit that happens in your brain, right? It's a drug.
Right.
Every time you get a like or you get a follow, it kicks off that what's the fucking word I'm looking for? You know what I'm talking about? That chemical in your brain.
Yeah. Dopamine or something.
Yeah. So that's a real thing. Every time, Riley, every time you get a like on a picture, you get a little excited. Even though it may not be a visible thing, you're like, ooh, especially if it's like, oh, the boys are all liking my stuff,
Let me tell you, whenever she'll post a picture of herself, there's a bunch of girls that will be like, "Oh, my BFF is beautiful." It's not.
They're all fake.
No, I know.
So annoying.
They're not just saying.
You just called out all your friends.
But you probably
I love
do
you,
too.
friends.
But that's what they do. Like it's not just, "Oh, you're so pretty." I mean, there is a lot of that. That's right. I feel like somewhat fake, but there's always they have to have that connection to themselves,
and not just to you, Riley, but overall to girls, high school age girls. What percentage of those, oh, you're so pretty, and all that stuff are genuine, and what percentage are catty hatred, veiled by this compliment?
Probably like 30% is real.
30% is real. Yeah. Hot take.
Some people some people comment and be like, "Oh, now I commented on you, so next time I post,
you better."
That's what I learned with the dog Instagram's page.
Stop right there. The dog Instagram page.
But she had a lot of followers because I followed a lot. It was like, let's work together
Canine
here.
Instagram
like
is
your
where
stuff,
it's at.
the more of their stuff you like, they like your stuff back. And it's a game. It's just a game.
And then they unfollow you. As soon as they get your follow, then they unfollow you.
That is the thing. You can get apps where
where
you can see who unfollows you.
But some of it's neat. You want to share things that you're proud of. I think that if you're a car guy or if you're if you're an Instagram model and you know, whatever, or if you got dog, you're a dog lover and you want to be a part of that little bubble of society, fine, then great, you know. But it's whenever, it gets competitive and unhealthy and people can't survive, literally can't survive, are having like deep emotional issues because they're not getting enough likes. That's a real problem in today's world.
That's another thing. Like, people will post something, if they don't get X amount of likes, they'll delete it. Like, I don't want people to see that I didn't
hit the mark.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is
crazy.
That's a thing. Oh my god.
I delete shit whenever I say something stupid. And then I'm like, well, that's not funny.
I usually leave it. I'm like, you know what? I said that stupid thing. Now I know.
I don't post that much.
That's who I was then.
I delete most things because I don't post much, and usually only post whenever I've been drinking, which September should be quiet. And but I say a lot of things that to my wife that then she ends up posting. And then I also say things in the voice of my dog for our dog's Instagram.
Right.
And that's my most favorite thing to do.
The dog ones are so fun, and most of the pages out there are very positive.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Well, and for me, like, I can say shit as my dog. That, you know.
Now,
you guys are weird.
I didn't have my dog talk in the first person.
Well, she took
Instagram.
a picture of Millie in the back seat of the car, and we were going.
That was cute.
Someplace this weekend. And she had just posted something about us going to the dog park, and she met this 165-pound Great Dane named Zeus. Millie's 8 pounds, and so it was quite a day. And she didn't scream, she didn't cry. She took it like a soldier. And then so the next shot is she's in the back seat of the truck, and I'm like, you know, and so my wife shows me the picture. She's like, "What do you think's going through her mind?" And I said exactly what I thought was going through her mind. Like, where the fuck are we going now? It better not be the vet, you know, because it's the only thing that could be worse than what we did earlier in the day is the vet. And so she pretty much posted that, and it was funny because that's, you know, everybody does that. That their dogs, what's going through your dog's mind, and what would they, if they could talk, what would they say?
Oh yeah.
But I think every dog lover does that. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe cat lovers do that too. Do you think cat lovers?
I think there are definitely cat accounts out there.
Well, I know, but do they talk in the voice of their cat?
Probably some, and they're always assholes because cats
are assholes. Yeah. Sorry, cat lovers, but
right.
Cats are assholes.
I think even cat lovers would admit that.
Yeah, maybe.
And they like it.
There's people at work who are like, "You just don't like cats because you haven't met my cat."
No.
Fuck you.
What's worse
your
than
cat
that?
hasn't snuck up on me. And
is the people that say, "Oh no, my cat's
jumped off
great.
the
It's
fridge.
just like a dog." It's like, well, why wouldn't you just get a fucking
get
dog? Why would you get a cat if you're looking for the dog
you can
traits?
go away for longer.
Because you basically just want it to be able to shit in a box, and you don't want to have to deal with letting it outside. You want to be irresponsible with your pet.
I don't know. I've seen plenty
You should
of
have just got a
kids
goldfish.
that shit and piss all over the house, not in their kitty litter.
Oh.
Cats. Did I say kids?
I don't know.
Kids. Cats.
That
are gross. Way worse than our dog.
I've never seen him that crap
Puking
outside of
on
their
stuff.
box. Most cats that I've ever seen, they do crap in their box, but someone's got to clean the box.
Well, yeah.
And they're just terrified. They're untrustworthy. You don't know where they're going to come up next. They're going to sneak up on you and hiss at you.
That's their nature, though. That's how cats are, right?
Yeah.
Like tigers, and they prowl and sneak around in the weeds and stuff.
Yeah. Cats suck.
Yeah. So, what is the... like I was saying before, I think the hierarchy is like, it was Facebook,
Technically,
Twitter.
it was MySpace.
Well, okay.
Actually, before that, it was another company. You ever watch that show, the Valley of the Boom?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was another. That's a true story. There was another company that came before MySpace that was the originator of social media.
I don't feel like there was a MySpace app on phones, though, the way Facebook
Well, it was before,
does.
it was before there were smartphones,
Well,
so it's hard to do.
Social media.
Yeah, but I think Facebook came before everybody had the smartphones, too, right?
Yeah, very slightly, yeah.
Well, then you had Instagram and then Snapchat. Is there anything
Twitter.
newer?
Well, there's
Vine.
Visco.
What the hell's that?
What is Visco?
Vine is dead.
Well, I know, but we're talking about the history. MySpace is dead, too.
Yeah.
I'm saying what's newer. I don't want to go
what's
back.
newer?
What's the new stuff?
TikTok right now.
TikTok.
Is TikTok the new Vine?
That is the new Vine, right?
TikTok is like Musically. Do you know what that is?
No.
Old people.
There's an app called
Old
Musically.
There was. It is now TikTok. And it's like people, like, it's kind of like Vine, and they like make comical skits or
attempted comical skits.
Yeah.
People
or like
some people think it's funny.
they make dances and just relatable things.
Do you have a TikTok account?
I don't make them, but
you consume
watch them sometimes.
You're a TikTok consumer.
Some people are a little obsessed. Chuck makes them.
I know. I've seen a couple of them. And only one was actually somewhat entertaining. The grilled cheese one was pretty good.
I haven't seen that one.
I'd recommend viewing it. It's actually somewhat comical.
So how is it different than just posting a little clip on Instagram? What's different about
it? I don't know. Probably
kids
not much.
Like to make things complicated.
I think kids are running.
Who try to monitor them.
Yeah, they're constantly running from the parents.
Yes.
So they'll run to the next thing that they know that their parents aren't on.
Once your mom gets a TikTok account.
I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
None of the parents had Facebook, and everybody was on MySpace. And then now all the parents have.
I think
now Facebook is all my parents' age.
But Snapchat seems to keep chugging along. Parents are on Snapchat, and nobody gives a shit.
I am not a fan of Snapchat, though. Maybe I'm old, but
I think that seems like they're enhancing it. You tell me, Riley. Are they adding new features to make it more social? Because as it was, I think it was just like point to point. You could send a group message or whatever. You could post something to your story, but most of it was just like person to person communication primarily.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to make it more of that social network where you can create groups and create groups of friends and I don't know. Maybe they're pushing that more than they were.
They got like news stuff on there too.
All the news I ever see is like, see how big Kim Kardashian's butt is now, or something like that. I'm like, and I never click. I of course never click on it, but it's never something I want to see.
Yeah. If it was J-Lo, what if it was J-Lo? Would you be interested in seeing that part?
No, I don't follow the celebrity news. I'm not into that.
Okay.
So TikTok, anything else? Is there a new game changer, like something you couldn't do before that now you can?
They have Visco too. What's
that?
Which
is what?
It's like a picture editing app, and
It's like filters?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not just editing. You can post it, and it's just like...
But so like now that is something that can people like things on there, but no one else sees that except you, right?
Yeah. But
no one sees it. You got likes.
You can't see how many likes it has or
you
comments.
You can like republish it.
Okay.
But it's all about showing off that someone liked your stuff. But look, dude. It's no different than what we're doing right now. It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah, you have a podcast.
It's exactly the same thing.
You look and see how many downloads
it's honestly, it's probably more... what we're doing is more vain than what a lot of people are doing.
Because you feel like what you have to say is important.
Right.
But you're not even saying anything. You're like, here's this picture of my cat jumping in the air.
Right.
I do it for entertainment. Like, I try to go... I hardly ever go with the serious... Usually, anytime I post anything, I try to go for the comical aspect. Even if I'm sad about something, like, like my kids growing up or whatever, I try to go for the funny. Or a picture, like I post pictures of Riley sometimes, and she's gorgeous, but like I try to find the ones where she's like half blinking or just, hey, look,
thanks,
this is
Mom.
Funny.
Yeah, why would you do
Look at my derpy kid.
I'm just trying to keep you level, right?
Gotta knock her down a peg or two every once in a while.
She's human. She half blinks sometimes.
Yeah. No, I think that it's human nature to want to be liked, right? But so even the crotchety old bastards like you and me, that it feels good. It feels good whenever we put something out and someone in Australia downloads it and seemingly listens to what we've had to say, and then they come back for another one. It's like, huh?
Right.
So
I
someone
guess,
listened to us, liked what we had to say enough to come back and listen again.
Mm-hmm.
That's rewarded. It's the same thing that a like on Instagram
we're like
does.
Informative, educational. We talk about
we think so. We
bottled
try to
water flavors and like
yeah.
which is the best.
Try to be, but you never know if your take is entertaining or informational or whatever. So, we've struggled with that being informational and entertaining and not being too serious and not being too funny and not being too, whatever.
What's the perfect balance of...
Right. It's hard. And especially when we're not professionals. We have a day job, but that's the other thing. People that there's a new job out there in the world that is...
If you say social media influencer, God,
yeah. And it's a real job. And
can we define that? What is that?
I don't know. Riley, do you know what a social media influencer is?
Just like advertising and showing. I don't.
I would say like whoever's behind like the Cardinals Instagram, that kind of thing. I feel like that's
No, I don't think that's it at all.
Stepped up. You don't think
that's actual marketing?
Okay, right.
Advertising or whatever.
You're saying like people that are like just takes lots of selfies and then someone's like, "Hey, will you put this bottle of water in?"
Is that what it is?
So the girl that got busted for Lori Loughlin's daughter, what the hell is her Janulis or whatever her name is? Yeah. So she was a social media influencer. So
can you just call yourself a social media influencer?
No, you have to have enough followers. I mean, I'm sure you could.
Are like YouTubers considered?
Yeah, I think so. Right. Yeah.
So like if you have enough followers and you've got enough of a network of people where with things that you say and do, people will be like, "Huh, I'll try that." Mm-hmm. So if you say, makeup or what that girl that Lori Loughlin's daughter, she did her dorm room. And it was all through like Bed Bath & Beyond or something like that.
Okay. You know? But they provided it to her and said, "Would you please use this on your..."
Like a sponsorship.
So it's just advertising.
A lot of the dog accounts are that way. Yeah. And they're using their dog as the character.
But it just shows how pliable humanity is. We're all just sheep. like, oh, she's pretty. What's she eating? Oh, I'm going to eat that. And we're idiots. We're morons. And we just keep following the shiny object. And whether it's a cute dog, a pretty girl, or the handsome guy, that whatever, or the catchy tune, the catchy jingle. We're all just following them right along and falling them off the cliff. It's a sad state.
Yeah. But I guess we need to get on board with this. We need to start hawking merchandise on our podcast.
Yeah.
Dasani.
Well, you look at Barstool and the Chive and these sites that have been around for about, I guess, 10 or 15 years now, that they started with just a bunch of dudes, like college dropouts or college dudes that said, "Hey, guys, what if we create this website and we just post pictures of hot chicks?" And I think that's how both of them started. And they said, "Hey, that's a great idea." So they got a guy that's smart enough to build a website. He builds it. He puts a first gallery out there before there's all these apps that do this stuff for him. And he puts 12 pictures of good-looking girls and in bikinis. And all of a sudden, people stumble upon it. Then he does it again. And before you know it, they got followers coming out their ass. And they've got an entire world that they've created. The Chive, which I don't go there as much as I would, like probably 10 years ago, probably 5 to 7 years ago, I used to go there a lot. I don't go there as much anymore because I don't know, just got boring, I guess, just the same shit over and over again. But they have a deal with Bill Murray and they're doing like his golf clothing line. And I mean, they've got big sponsorships and big, partnerships. And they started with just a bunch of asshats in Venice Beach.
Those Dude Perfect guys.
Right, yeah. Exactly. Same kind of thing.
Those are just a bunch of college dudes that are like, "Hey, watch this."
And they end up having a whole bunch of followers, and they're making a mint.
And they have so many sponsors too now.
And Barstool Sports they were selling T-shirts outside of Fenway or something like that. I mean, they started, but they came up with a catchy T-shirt phrase, and it just kept snowballing. And someone was smart enough to say, "Hey, if we do this, we can do that." Let's start to put some energy into it. So, are there
people your age, or even like people that that want to do that, or think that that's what they're going to be? Or
every single one of them, I would imagine.
I mean, it's an easy job.
I don't think it's easy, but
there are several. I would say there are several.
It's easier
if you have
it's an easy job. It's a hard job to get.
Just girls,
it's hard
but
to be good at it.
A lot of people that like go to school with you have a lot of followers. And they probably did the Instagram game that you do, which is where you go follow, and then
or you're buying followers, or
kind of,
yeah.
And then you have, you format your page, your Instagram feed to be all. It has to look the same. So every time you post something, it has to be the exact same filter. And to me, that's just not. I mean, I like the idea of having uniformity, but it's just not genuine. You know what I mean? Like, you might have one. I don't know. I'm cynical, I guess. When it comes to
I know. I hear what you're saying. That it's not.
And it's all.
It's disingenuous.
And it's all that person. Selfies. That kind of thing.
Right.
And
but they're selling themselves. That's their product.
Definitely.
That's what they're marketing, and that's great if you got it, and you can get away with it. I'm not gonna. It's capitalism, If someone's willing to pay you to hawk their wares, then great. Put on the bikini and go sell the makeup or whatever it is, or if you're dumb enough to put a firecracker up your ass and they want to pay you for it.
I guess it's just like any other celebrity that's on a commercial or something. It's like, well, people like those celebrities.
The problem is that it used to take some talent. It used to take it's the whole Kardashian effect, right? It used to take some talent to become famous. Now it doesn't take anything.
Yeah,
it's just you dumb luck, and you can be famous too, and a la Kardashian. I don't know. You were gonna say something, Riley. You pulled it my clothes. You had a thought. I could see it.
No,
she just wants it away from me.
No, I mean we sit here and bitch about it, but no one's. It's only gonna get worse.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the next app will be, but what was it? Was it China that actually started doing the whole social ranking? The government is like ranking people. Like you can. There was a Black Mirror
like I'm
episode.
ranked higher than you. What does that mean?
Well, potentially, yeah. That you have a social ranking that if you, and it's driven by the government, so somehow or another. I'm not sure if it was China, but
so they kind of know who's influential and who they need to watch out for.
Not even that, but like you can be demoted to the point where like, no, you can't live in this neighborhood because your social ranking isn't high enough.
Oh, I see. All right.
So there was a Black Mirror episode that was exactly that. This woman was, and it's obviously near future setting, and her everybody's whole world. Have you seen the one I'm talking about? The whole world revolved around likes, and as you walk past somebody, they could be like, "Oh, he looks like a nice person," and give you a plus. And if you walk by and you got a scowl on your face, or your dog shits on their shoe, then they
wasn't it the kind of thing where like if you know that person gave you a like, then you like them back too,
right?
Or if vice versa, you're like, oh.
But then if you started to drop, then you couldn't have your party at this venue,
right?
Or
and it could eventually just free fall. It was a great episode because it was it was the crumbling of this person's.
It was the one with
life.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. Really good episode. It was good. But that's where I think, we're probably already there to some degree. There's just some of us that don't give a shit. But in your world, in the high school world or in the college world, it's a big deal. And if you don't have those likes and follows and your social presence isn't up to snuff, then it could be socially detrimental. No?
My friends and I always talk about like how we wish it wasn't this way, but it is.
But you all feed into it and off of it. Yeah. Well, you could change it.
Do you think that a few people that are in college now, probably? Do you feel like it goes away? Like when we were in high school, way before social media, you had cliques and you needed to wear these kinds of clothes and being popular, right? And then you go away to college and no one gives a shit about that stuff.
Well, like sororities, for sure.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Right. Or even what's the dude ones? Fraternities, yeah. Like I see all the time in kids' stories now, they're like, "Oh, we're doing a rush or whatever." And
I feel like that's still the scene that you do have to fit in with, and you got to wear the.
Take your phone off the top of the speaker. I just heard a buzzing.
Yeah, people with your phones.
Yeah, it
put them in your pocket.
Interference. I heard some buzzing. Not a big deal.
Hear it buzzing. I feel like that's still a world at the.
It definitely is. My niece just got done rushing. And she got a bid. I don't remember which sorority, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for that one. But she's going to be Greek, and good for her. I think it's for some people, it's the thing. It's the way to go. And other people, like my son, for example, not so much. He has plenty of fun without being Greek, and he goes to the same parties. And I was the same way when I was in college. I did pledge a fraternity, and then I de-pledged like a month and a half in just because
you had issues, right? Like
no, I just didn't like being told what to do. And
I thought they were racist or something.
Well, there was a little bit of that too, but but no, and also just I just don't like being told what to do and where to be. It's like no, I don't want to do that.
Especially at that point in your life, you're all about.
I've just got freedom from my parents, and now you guys are going to tell me I got to show up at 2 a.m. to clean up your fucking mess. Right. No, I'm out. But anyway, so she's doing that. My niece is now, and she just graduated last year, and good for her. That's what she wants her college experience to be. I don't think she's I don't know. I don't think she's too impressionable. Like she's gonna do the total sorority girl persona. I think she's still gonna be.
I don't know.
The bratty little niece.
I feel like you can still get all that. Have close friends that you go do fun stuff with. It doesn't require you to pay dues into a frat house.
I agree. I mean, and that's the path that I choose. But I think there's a lot of people that choose to go the other way, and that's just the way that the world is, and it's not going to change. I mean, that experience is. There's part of me that wishes that I had completed, and become a full member of that fraternity. Because there's a brotherhood that I know, and I know some of the guys that were members, and I know members of other fraternities too. And there is a true brotherhood that comes from being a member, that they have a bond that you don't have with other people. Now, you may have it with your roommate.
But you would have that with your close friends, whether it was a fraternity or not. I mean, you'd have it.
Maybe not.
Well,
and if you're in a fraternity, you've got it with 50 other people or 100 other people or more.
Or maybe not. I might be like, fuck those guys. What a bunch of douchebags. Yeah.
Well, they probably would have thrown your ass out.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
No, but I think that it's all individual.
Right.
And it's also dependent on the campus. Like my son going to Tulane. I don't think it's required. It's not required anywhere, but it's not needed. You can have a lot of fun at Tulane University and not be Greek. There's other fraternities like Mizzou where I think that's not required, like I said, but if you're not Greek, you're not going to have as much fun. You're not going to be able to get into certain parties. You're not going to be able to go to certain things.
Is that why they're going to school?
Right.
Well, no, it shouldn't be, but it is for a lot of people,
I just remember...
It's a shame, too, because a lot of them get wrapped up and they end up dropping out.
Very expensive party.
But it was like, you got instant, you can recognize, the khakis, the long sleeve polo shirt, pulled up sleeves, the loafers. I mean, it was just like the mid-90s yuppieville, and it was just so pathetic and ridiculous and like, come on. And they all look the same and they all act the same and talk the same.
I don't think that's the case.
But,
I think that's your perception.
I would argue that that's how you were with your friends in high school and out of high school. You guys wore the same kind of
counterculture band nerds.
You weren't in frats, but you were.
Well, like I said, you can have that with friends without like this cult-like environment of you must do this, you must be here at this time.
Well, that's just the initiation.
We're all gonna. That's our whole life. I saw it for.
No, it's not.
Okay.
No, I mean you're wrong on that one. It's not. I mean that's pledging and that's going through the initiation process, and that you are required as
after
a pledge.
Pledging and the rest of your time there, it's like here's the parties we're going to. I'm not saying it's mandatory.
But it's not required.
Okay, but it is because you're part of it and you go do all that shit.
But no, it's not. You're wrong. It's not required. Okay. You're not required to go to every.
I'm not saying it's required by rule. I'm saying it's required socially. Like this is what we're doing tonight. We're all going here. Guess what? The blah blah blahs are going to be there too. We're going, and if you don't go, like what the fuck? Why didn't you go?
We'll agree to disagree.
Trying to get mad at you.
I think our perception of fraternities is just different.
All right, fine. I'm saying it's not required like a rush when you're pledging would be required in that sense. I'm just saying it's social expectations. Like this is what you do. You're in our fraternity.
Well, probably
we're going
if
here
you
and
join that fraternity, you all have a similar mindset, and you're probably all wanting to do the same things.
Yeah, they want to do it. Yeah, I don't know.
You were in it. I wasn't, so I can't.
Well, I was very briefly,
but I also a lot. But
I also, when I was done pledging, and I went to just as many fraternity parties, if not more.
Well, that's the thing.
Actually, I went to more because it opened me up to be. Because if I was a member of fraternity, well, then I was locked into doing stuff with them before I could go to the party next door, the party down the street. Whenever I wasn't affiliated.
Well, there for sure was stuff you couldn't go to unless you were involved in it. But then there was every weekend there's frat parties and anybody.
But there were also parties, and I went to Missouri State, Southwest Missouri State, that there was parties that you'd walk up to and thinking that it was an open party, and they'd be like, "No, you're not Greek. We know you're not Greek, so get the fuck out." And I was like, "All right, cool. I'll go over to the Big Yellow House we call BYH," and that was the independent house, and you knew there was always a party to go to if you went over there. So.
I don't know. It just always seemed weird to me. Like you said, at this point, you're getting away from your parents. You're becoming your own person, individuality, figuring out who you are. And then, you do the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay.
Well, some people need
fine.
that.
Yeah.
There's a couple of guys that were my roommates freshman year that we all pledged and then de-pledged. We all started and then quit the fraternity. And there's a couple guys that should have stayed in the fraternity because it would have kept them on the right path. And because they quit, they ended up not having any guidance, you know.
Yeah.
So
I guess you get it a little bit of everything in all people who should be in it and aren't.
18-year-old kids are not ready. Their brains aren't even fully formed. It's just a ball of mush up there. They're not smart. They're not able to make critical decisions.
Yet they sign up for the military.
They sign up for the military. They sign up for, they can vote. You know, they can't drink. They can own a gun.
Yeah.
They can go get they can do a lot of things, but so you shouldn't be making too many decisions, but you should rely on some other more experienced people for guidance for the first 5 years of adulthood. Till about 23. Then it's like, all right, you know. It's like my boy said, what did he do? He was like, oh, I went ahead and changed my meal plan. I was like, why would you do that? Number one, your ROTC, the government's paying for whatever you want. So you can have carte blanche. You want the top of the line? Get it. They're paying you for it. He goes, well, if I do this one instead of that one, then it gives me more cash in my student account so I can go buy more coffees. But then I have to forego a meal. So I'm like, you only get 2 meals a day then? He's like, yeah, but I really only eat 2 meals a day. I'm like, but what if you wanted 3? Now you got to pay out of pocket. Plus, why did we buy you a Keurig? You're going to go buy coffees. So it was stupid. And he's like, oh, that's a good point. Yeah, what if I want breakfast? And I'm like, yeah, well, go change that back. And then he's like, well, I don't know if I can. I'm like, you're not smart enough to be alone.
Yeah, right.
we need to supervise you a little closer. But I think he's able to twitch it back.
You're going to join a sorority if you go to college?
I don't know. I don't know if I could fit in for that.
Fit in?
Yeah,
I think you could. I think you would. I think it's probably a lot like the sisterhood you have with your cheerleading friends, that there's a bond there that you all have, that it's kind of the same thing, I think. I don't know. Not a girl. Didn't cheer either.
I'm with my friends all the time, and it's going to be hard to let them all go.
That is tough. I did go to college with a couple of my best friends, and that made a big difference.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I would have wanted to just like make new friends and be, you know.
I wish I had gone. So I went to college with my best friend in high school, and we ended up by chance being suite mates. Didn't sign up for it, just completely by random draw. We were in the same suite, and not in the same room.
Your parents probably got that.
No, it was a complete shock to both of us. Honestly, it really was weird.
Yeah.
And then the next year, we chose to be suite mates again. We were never roommates until the third year we got an apartment together, and but that, you know, as much as fun as I had with Dave, I wish I had gone away from everybody and kind of gone started anew. You know, we had a lot of friends that went. Obviously, Missouri State's a big school. A lot of kids from St. Louis go there, so it was like a mini version of high school for me. There was a whole bunch of us down there. So
it was honestly at U of I, it was that way too. Not that way, but I probably knew a dozen or 15 people from our high school that were there. At some a year older, some a year younger, some in my grade, and so it felt like everywhere you went, you were always running into somebody you knew. And it was like, I went, 3 or 4 hours away to a school with 40,000 people, and I'm running into people from high school.
Yeah.
It was kind of
weird. You're not one of those guys who, came home from college and like, oh, I met this guy. This is my college buddy.
No, I have no friends that I made in college. All of your college buddies
were high school buddies too. So yeah, but you're just kind of, you're just kind of like that anyway.
I don't like people very much.
Not like initiating new relationships, really. But
yeah, I had a lot of friends in college that I don't talk to much anymore. But most of my wedding party, for example, was college friends. I wish I'd talked to them more.
You say you're not a people person, but you're pretty personable. You seem to make friends pretty well.
We talked. You gave me a little shit about this when we were up at homecoming. It's not that I'm not a people person. I don't like crowds.
Okay.
I don't like being.
I think I'm the same way.
I don't like being in very crowded places. I don't like being overwhelmed with too much stimuli.
Sensory overload.
I think I am a people person. Okay. I do talk to people. I enjoy seeing people that I know and I enjoy that conversation. I just don't want to do that in a crowded fucking place. Okay. And there's times, like I said to my wife, I don't want to go to the grocery store sometimes because inevitably I'm going to see someone that I know, and then that trip in there just to buy a bag of chips turns into 25 minutes because I got to, you want to say hi and you don't want to be rude. And
then you see them in the next aisle.
Right.
And the whole rest of the shopping trip, and it's always like, oh,
right.
hey
and then you feel like shit, because if you do see him, you're like, oh, fuck. And then you run,
I
run away.
I
and
hide.
You're like, God, I hope they didn't see me,
See, the benefits of being short.
Yeah, you just hide and pick an
behind
aisle.
the bananas.
I can't even find you half the time. I'm wandering around. Where the hell?
You'll put a bell on her.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's
I don't know
time
that
to
we
wrap
got in our topic there. But
no, we kind of segued off social media, started fighting about fraternities.
No, because you know what the fuck you're talking about. But that's okay. It's all right.
But I was around it a lot. Wasn't in it, but I was around it a lot. Anyway, so yeah.
One other point. You were around a lot, and just to not to belabor the point, but it is interesting that you were around it at U of I. I was around it at Southwest Missouri State University. There's a bunch of people that went to Mizzou. It's a different animal at every single school. Yeah. At SEMO, where my niece is going, completely different deal down there. I had one niece who went down there and never would have imagined and didn't want to be a part of any Greek life at all. Had a blast, had a great time.
Yeah.
And now I have another one that sees no other way but to be part of Greek life. So it's different.
It definitely
it's different
could be
from campus to campus and from individual to individual. So,
and I imagine it's got to be way different now than it was 20 years ago or whenever when we were.
I think everybody has this kind of romanticized version of Animal House in their head. Guys do, you know, that they see this is like this crazy party where, you know, there's always girls around and there's copious amounts of beer and just crazy shenanigans 24/7. Yeah. And sometimes it can be like that. I will say that there were parties that were close to that, right? Yeah. But that's not healthy.
Right.
That's not a healthy life to live, you know? So finding that balance is the hard part, you know? And I'm all the new college students out there all two that might be listening to this, but find that balance, find that zen, right? Because you can't be drunk 7 days a week.
Probably just playing Fortnite now and getting on
beer pong,
TikTok or whatever.
Do you know how to play beer pong?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I think I've played it with water.
Yeah. Do you know?
We played it at one of our birthday parties with water.
I'm ashamed to admit I have never played.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe I've only played once.
I do not know how to play. I know it's a pyramid of cups with beer in it and a ping pong ball, and it's a long table, and you throw the ball and you try to get. But what's the point? Then you drink the cup if you make it in the cup.
That cup that you made it in?
Do you drink it or does someone else drink it? You shouldn't know this. Why are we asking her?
Be careful what you answer. I don't know, Mom. I've never heard of this game you're speaking of.
I'm thinking, someone else does, right?
I think most people play with, like, water.
Okay,
because you don't want nasty fingers in your something you're going to drink.
I mean, that would be water in the water, too.
Yeah, but you don't drink. I don't know.
You're not drinking the water after you make it.
You just take it. Have you ever played cup pong on? No, you guys don't have iMessages.
No, but I've heard of that. Yeah. Is it like beer pong?
Yeah.
Okay. But obviously no drinking because it's on a phone.
Right. Yeah.
You can't drink your phone. I got you. Yeah, apparently my son, they in their new digs, they bought a beer pong table. And I've seen this room that they're in, this whatever you call it, townhouse. Mm-hmm. There's no room for a beer pong table. I'm like, where do you put this fucking thing? And they're like, well, it folds up and it fits under the sofa real nicely. I'm like, but if you get it out and you want to play, there's no room for anybody to stand. It's like, oh, yeah, perfect amount of space for like a person to stand on each end of it and people to stand along the sides of it. I'm like, you guys have your priorities way out of whack.
I feel like there's so many ways that you can come up with to drink beer or whatever. Like, just drink it or shots or whatever. Like, you don't need a table and
I was telling him about we used to do really didn't need much equipment for this. A Century Club or the Hour of Power as we called it. So you basically do a shot of beer every minute for an hour.
Don't ever do that.
Which is 60 ounces of beer, which is terrible. I mean, that's what 3 beers, right?
5.
5 beers. Yeah, 5 beers in an hour. So that's a lot.
Uh-huh.
And then you did the Century Club would be 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes. So do the math, 100 ounces. So we didn't need a beer pong table. We also didn't need that game because by the time you got through about 10 minutes, you're like, yeah, fuck it, we're just going to drink.
Right. That's what I don't get.
We're just going to talk and who's keeping track of time anymore at that point. But
well, speaking of keeping track of time, we're out of time.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting late. We got a half-loaded episode. My daughter's got to go to bed. It's a school night.
It is.
Yep. But
I need to go to bed.
I know. We're all tired. We're getting old. So thanks for tuning in and listening to us drink water and talk about apps we have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Riley, where would they go on social media to find out more about or leave us a message or anything like that?
Their Instagram.
Which is our what is it? What do you call it? Handle? What do you call it?
Instagram handle.
What is it? Come on.
She doesn't.
Your dad's been doing this shit for over a year.
Load of this. Is it get?
Load of this.
At load this podcast.
An email.
Email is.
It is a little different.
What is email? Load this podcast at gmail.com.
Whatever.
And then Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook is at load this podcast.
What's your TikTok?
That's a damn fine question. Mm-hmm. We need a
Chuck,
president of TikTok operations.
Chuck in charge of that one.
Yep.
I think it's hard to come up with him. I think he struggles with, and him and Grant share an account, I believe, and Grant struggles even more. It seems. It's hard to be funny. It's hard to be entertaining, and especially when you're overthinking it. I think that's the number 2 problem with social media.
Yeah.
Is that everybody's trying too fucking hard. If everybody would just relax and just be themselves and let it happen, those are the more entertaining and funny things.
No one would judge you.
Well, but if you just gotta stop caring.
We just need to end social media. Just get off of there.
Except for podcast apps.
Yeah, podcasting is fine. Doesn't count.
Get a load. What is it? Get a load of this on YouTube.
Get a load of this.
Get a load of this. What? Really?
Put podcasts on it. Well, you don't have to, but
know your own handle.
You find it easier on YouTube if you include podcasts on it. Get a load of this podcast.
I'm starting to think we need to bring alcohol back into this operation.
Yeah, I know. I'm sweating just because of the water.
Because it's 80 degrees in here.
It's not.
You got these fucking lights on me.
Yeah, heat lamps in here.
I'm like a stale order of French fries over here.
Yeah. Well, when you're not here, we're growing weed in here. UV lamps. All right. Anyway, let's finish this up. Until next time, I'm Jared.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Riley.
Kristin.
And this is Half Loaded. Man.
That's all she
I don't know
does.
what
What are you? Your hand over there? Is that
Check.
Okay, I put my hands down here because you take a picture of my hand. My nasty fingernails that I chew on.
Okay. I think we're better now.
You sure?
I don't know.
Check.
Yeah, you guys gotta speak up. We tell our kids that all the time. Do your kids not speak up?
Yeah, if I'm doing the dishes, you
They're
yell
my
at
kids.
me. I could really hear you doing the dishes upstairs. But we're sitting here on a microphone, and you can't hear that.
Well, but you're not like clear right into it.
Up on it.
Okay.
So that's better. See, like Riley, you can hear the difference in how clear your dad and I are. We're right on it, but then your mother.
Because you guys are loud people.
Well, yes.
I have bad breath too, so I'm trying to be considerate.
Yeah, you do.
Anyway, we're gonna kick it off again.
Yeah, let's do this.